Just please stop yelling at me, please. Call 911 now!
Welcome to Punished for Protecting Live with your host, Francesca Amato-Banfield.
Thank you, Ted.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
again for letting us use your venue like this. So welcome, guys. Today we're going to be talking about superheroes versus super zeros. Now, I think that the best way to show something, or I think that the best way to learn something, is to know the difference by kind of studying it, see the consistency in it. So for example, like every woman out there, I like diamonds, right? But you could get something called the zirconia, and you could look at it and think that some guy just bought you $100 zirconia and told you that it was a $10,000 diamond. And if you don't know any better, you might fall for it. At the same time, you may look at the band, and the band could be some kind of a metal. And then next thing you know, you look at your finger and it's all black because it's not gold, right? So it looks like gold, but it's not gold. So today's episode, superheroes versus super zeros. And you've seen our little cool little slideshow there of so many people who have been made into superheroes for punished for protecting Justice League. And we have offered that you guys go to, which we've kept her so busy, Luciana Constantino, because she's the awesome person that has turned us all into superheroes. And because everybody loved it so much, they started saying, hey, how can I be a superhero too? So you can go to Luciana because we want you to, we encourage you to become a Punished for Protecting Justice League member. And you can either tell her what superhero you want to be. It's okay if you already see a superhero. You can do that as well. There's obviously somebody had the number, it's like 5 billion people, or maybe there's even more than that on Facebook alone. And we would really like to see this, like everybody to do this. And we'd really like to see this and see your profile pictures change to superheroes. But in contrast of what's real and what's fake, I think that just from watching other people in this, in doing this kind of work as advocates, I look for special qualities in people. I look for morals. I look for people who speak truth. I look for people who are consistent. And I find them to be the diamonds. They're the real, the pure gold, the real, okay? They've been tried by fire and they still come out being kind, being respectful. If something is wrong, talking to you individually about it, okay, being decent. And I find those people to be the genuine superheroes, genuinely superheroes for the children, for the movement, for the parents, for families, for our country, right? And children look up to superheroes, and parents really are their superheroes. Then you've got your super zeros. Those are the people that are out there falsely accusing people, whispering in somebody's ear, gossiping, murmuring, complaining, all the ings, out there mocking people, belittling people, doing just nasty stuff. Those are the super zeros. Those may sometimes look like the real thing, but in time, and my friend Melanie Herring always says, basically, people always show you who they are, right? So I've had, even people right here on this platform today, I've had others come to me and say horrible things about, and I sat back and pretty much either ignored them, or if it was somebody I respected, and actually didn't have that happen here, I might have taken it into consideration, but I sat back and watched and listened, and I did not see anything that matched horrific things that people say. And I just mean that even in general too. And that's what we need to do as human beings, especially as advocates. We need to believe in people and not be going around cynical and sinister, thinking the worst in others, right? But, and then many times I have made what somebody might consider a mistake in judgment, but I can assure you, I don't believe that's true. There's a scripture that says that to the pure, all things are pure, and to the wicked, all things are wicked or cynical. So if you have a good heart and you have faith in God, then you're going to look for the best qualities in people. And for a time, he may have you walk with certain people to maybe encourage them to come out of what they're in. Maybe you can set an example with your own life that they'll change for the better, right? And you walk with them for a while, and sometimes you walk with them for a really long while, and then you say no, and you step back and you say no more. But that doesn't mean you made a bad choice. That actually means that sometimes he does use people to have others come out of what they're doing that is not appropriate or not right. Maybe giving them a chance. Maybe he sees the best in them, like we should in all people. Okay. And as advocates, that should be always our heart. Now, I wanted to, that's my contrast between superheroes and super zeros. Now, we did this morning because, and I'm going to show you something really funny, but we did this morning because, or this afternoon, because Rich and I have been working with, and Larry Cricks is a chapter leader, Missy McDonald is a chapter leader of West Virginia. But we've been working behind the scenes in a private group with West Virginians. Okay, so this is like a twofold message today. And West Virginians have to be probably the most frightened people I think I've met out of all the states that we're working for. And I do have a special interest in the state of West Virginia, as I do in the state of New York. And I feel like sometimes you have to target certain states. And also, actually, there's a third one there, which would be Georgia, which we're going to talk about, which I'm very excited for the first annual Nancy Schaefer event in Clarksville, Georgia on the 25th. So yeah, for that. So definitely stay tuned because we got a lot of information for you guys today, and we're not going to drag this on long. So hopefully everybody, if you're on your lunch hour or whatever watching this, or you watch this later, you'll have time to watch this whole broadcast today. West Virginia, we've kept a spotlight on. Georgia, we've kept a spotlight on. The state of New York. These are states that are the worst, and there are really bad ones out there besides them. But I believe by going after the head of the giant and cutting it off, then you get the rest of the body, so to speak. And so we do go right into the worst, so we can fix this whole freaking crazy process that's been happening in our country. So we've been working with these people for, several months, right? And they were terrified to show their faces. You couldn't even get them in a Zoom meeting when nobody else is looking, terrified to talk out, having their children taken from them, having their rights stripped, being thrown in jail for doing absolutely nothing wrong. Jim Justice is the governor of that state. And, no respect from me, that's for sure. No respect from me from the things I see in that state. I know that West Virginia to have the worst labor laws in the country, one of the worst labor laws in the country. They bleed people at work. I mean, literally want them to work for squeeze out every penny they can out of a human being and pay them nothing. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's a beautiful state, though. I have to say the state of West Virginia is an absolutely beautiful state, beautiful mountains, beautiful everything, but very polluted water in the mid-Ohio region. It's the very polluted water, like Brockovich, situation, Aaron Brockovich. So it's sad. And I see this in my entire country, like when we travel and stuff, and when we drive around and look at like New York. I mean, we've got gorgeous mountains, gorgeous lakes, gorgeous everything, gorgeous, waterfalls and hiking. And it's like, you've got this corruption that goes on in your states, though, that we have to really fight for, because we're fighting for our children and our children's children, and we have a beautiful country, and yet it's just so full of nasty corruption. Okay. So we go in and we target out the things that need to be addressed and the things that need to be exposed. And I just see so much. I'm the kind of person that I sit back and I look at things and I see like all these kids coming out now, colleges, all these different types of what I call propaganda coming out. And I'm not saying that we don't need certain protections like gun protections, but we have to be very, very careful if they're going to try to steal our gun rights. Anything that messes with our Constitution that these kids are not being taught in school. They're not being taught the Constitution in school. They're not being taught in colleges the truth about the Constitution. They think it's okay that we're going to start erasing lines in our Constitution. And when you do that, you've caused serious injury to our nation. And it still continues to affect the health and welfare of our nation, of our families. And that's something that we have to vehemently fight against. And there are different ways to do that. And there's different platforms, and family reform and so on, whatever you want to call it, to me, is my most passionate. It is the most important thing that we do. And I at Punished for Protecting, absolutely give you the stories of the mothers and the fathers and the truth. And sometimes people don't like to hear the cold, hard facts of what really happens. People go and they address fake statistics because they don't even comprehend the fact that a lot of things are not reported. So the stats aren't even accurate to begin with. So I'm saying that because the issues that we see arising in these states, where we see literal people being arrested for no reason, thrown in jail, gag ordered, criminals are not going to jail, but innocent people are. Parents are being completely severed from their children, and children severed from their parents. And for years, nobody even thought there was something wrong with that picture. We all were fooled by that picture. We all somehow thought that this was okay, and it's not okay. And so we have to continue to just trump this message loud and clear, and think of creative ways to make this message heard, like the examples that you see with the millions of views when you see what they say to be children's deaths of guns all over the shoes all over the White House lawn. Then you look on the lawn and you scan the lawn and there's adult shoes. I've never seen a child wear a size 11 shoe. I don't know about you. Okay. But, you know, God gave us something between our ears. It's called the brain. And for years you were taught that we only use 10%. And I feel sad for people that only use 10% of their 100% of their brain that they should be using. There's no such science that actually proves that we only use 10% of our brain. We actually use the entire brain. And the more thinking you do, the more the lobes grow. I mean, it's like the more that our brain functions even better. Our brain is one of the most amazing organs. There's a doctor called Dr. Caroline Leaf, and you guys really should research and study her work. She's brilliant, brilliant. So we have a lot to learn, and we have a lot that we should be learning, and we should be doing an awful lot of thinking, and stop having the TVs think for you, and stop having the legislators and the governors and the president and these judges or anybody else think for you. If something is morally wrong, you better think about it, and you better do whatever you can to change it. So on that, one of the things that we're doing was working with West Virginia, and we have a nice large size group, and we're looking for more of you from West Virginia to start joining us. You can go to Richard Provost. We will vet you, and we will go into a group privately, because we are planning on March 30th. So please write this date down. We are planning actually a national protest, and we want to see everybody come out, and we'd like to see you come out as a superhero for these children. That's what we'd like to see you come out as. So you go to Luciana Costantino and you have her change you into a superhero, and she'll put, and you can put it as your profile picture. We're going to ask everybody to please change your profile picture. I'm going to be changing mine back to a superhero. And this is going to get the attention that it needs, because I've never met anybody that doesn't want to be a superhero. I've never met a person that doesn't want to be a superhero. As a matter of fact, we're laughing because there's a judge in Pennsylvania that mocked one of my advocates and accused her of really believing she was a superhero. These people are such flakes that if I was in that court, I would have to be held back to not be able to go off on this person because I just can't believe some of the tactics and the disgusting things that they do inside our judicial system and inside our courts to harm parents and families and children. And if it doesn't give you this anger when you hear something like that a judge stepped out of his supposedly honorable position to be so dishonorable and so disgusting as to accuse a mother of believing she's a superhero, when in reality, we are really superheroes. But the way he was talking about it was like she has some imaginary lunatic way of thinking. And I think that is quite disgusting. And I think that it's sad that we as a people would even allow that, and that our higher judiciary wouldn't actually take him off the bench for even saying something like that. Because that is really just pathetic. It's pathetic that we have to go into these courts and be treated like some sort of fools when we're not, be treated like we're some sort of garbage when we're not, and have to fight with our breath to protect our own children and families. I don't know how this topic isn't all over the globe as just all over the media, all over everything, on the front page news. I don't know how this topic hasn't made people irate because of the damages that these judges are doing. And I see stupid infighting, and I see people, I just recently this morning, somebody was like, you're anti-dads now, because I've had several mothers who have genuinely been abused. You know, people really need to start either thinking, paying more attention, focusing more, because everybody's been through some kind of hell. And yet I don't see everybody acting like an idiot. And that's the difference, again, between superhero, super zero. Okay. Real and genuine and counterfeit. Okay. Because I see people that have PTSD and they horribly attack you. They jump all over you. They act like fools. They don't listen to what you're saying. They act irrational. And then I've seen people with PTSD that have compassion and empathy and breathe and stop and think and own it and be responsible, because they realize that yes, you were hit by a car 3 times and you don't want to be hit again, but they don't blame the doctor that's coming to get them off the street, or they don't blame the ambulance that comes driving by to help them, or they don't blame the person that's putting a blanket around them. You get what I'm saying? So it's sad that we have part of our advocacy work in helping families is actually having to train other advocates to grow the hell up. And so that's why I call this superheroes versus super zeros. And you can take me as ever you want to take me. I really don't care as long as we get the job done. All right. So now let's talk about some of the West Virginia people. And I have Amanda on today. And actually, she's the chapter leader for Michigan. But she's here today because she's a superhero in my book. Rich Provost is West Virginia chapter leader. He's also on my board. And he's a superhero. Ted, I don't know if you're actually showing yourself right now, but to me, Ted Fogg is a superhero in every way. This guy's never done one thing ever to offend me. He's never done one thing that I would consider wrong in any way, shape, or form. Matter of fact, he's very gracious. I see him opening his platform to people. This is free work that he's, free. That he does. Never ask for a dime. Matter of fact, I've offered sometimes, and he's like, and he's not, he's somebody that just like anybody, struggles and tries to just do this work. I don't know what's ever happened in the past, and I don't really care because it's a new day today. And all I know is this man is putting together the first annual Senator Nancy Schaefer in Clarksville, Georgia. We've pulled people together to get along now. I'm very proud of that because that's a huge blessing to the movement on a whole that we get along. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We have a lineup of singers. I mean, I'm beyond psyched. I can't wait to get with everybody. Did you want to talk a little bit about it?
Sure. Yeah, it's just incredible how it's come together. I didn't expect it to come this far this year. I was more expecting what's happening now to happen maybe next year, but creating the artwork and going there in person and talking to the mayor and stuff, the word got out to Nancy Schaefer, the daughter, who didn't know me, and so the mayor was saying, "Do you know this person who's hosting that?" No. So they called John, who was the main guy the main son who helped with Nancy's ministry and Nancy's campaign, and said, "Do you know this guy up in Vermont?" No. So they started like looking at me, looking at the live feeds, looking at her posts, and saw Belinda's name. And Belinda is one of the first people I met in the community in DC in 2016. And the son had spent a lot of money doing background checks and researching a lot of these people who were in his mother's notes, and Belinda was one. He saw her name, contacted her, and now we have the blessing and support, even possibly help, because they really respected what their mother was doing for families. It's incredible. And the Habersham County Sheriff is going to be in attendance. Some of the family members may be in attendance. I'm just overwhelmed with how this is moving forward, and I can't wait. I'll be there in a week and seeing all you guys again. You guys are like family to me. Even the people you mentioned who have negative things to say, it's all about being in person. I love seeing everybody in person. Everybody's like family. Sometimes we don't get along, sometimes we do. Doesn't matter. It's just Facebook has a way of muddling everything up because you're not in front of people, and you can't look at people in the eye, and sometimes, especially late at night, people have not so great things to say. And when we're in person, when we can see each other, hug each other, shake each other's hands, that's when things really matter. And all the Facebook past stuff, in my mind, is forgotten. It's what we do in person together that really makes a difference. And
I agree. Yeah. When you said that to me when we were actually in Connecticut, you were like, I'd really like to do this I'd really like to do an event for Nancy Schaefer right in her own town and state. And it was like, yeah. And my schedule's nuts. And I was like, no matter what, I'm gonna be there. This is a definite on. And then I'm blown away myself because there's so many people going. We have a campground. So we have the Windy Hold on a minute. We have the Windy. I should know this, right? Oh, wait. Let's see. I have it on my Facebook page.
I think I have it on. I can pull it up.
Here we
But
go.
it's
I got.
good.
Yep. It's the Windy. It's loading. Windy Sky RV Camp, and then on the 24th, the night before, you guys can still register. I'm doing a class, a meet and greet, and a book signing at the camp in the community room from 6 p.m. to 9 the night before the event. So we can all get together, be a lot of fun. And you can register on my website, Punished, the number 4, beingaparent.com. I want you guys to know the registrations are coming in because I've got 4 classes booked already. Marlboro, New York, this Sunday at 1 o'clock. So register if you haven't already. There's still some room. It's a smaller room. Windy Sky RV Camp in Georgia on the 24th, 6 to 9. That's a larger room, much larger room. Then I've got Nanuet, New York. And that one is 1 o'clock to 4:30 as well in Nanuet, New York. And you have to register for that one. That's That's April the 14th from 1 to 4:30. Then I'm going to be, and this is good for all you Ohio people and West Virginia people, all about West Virginia today. I'm going to be at the Parkersburg Wood County Library in Parkersburg, West Virginia on March 29th from 4 to 7. 3-hour classes with a book signing. You get a book, meet and greet, and so on and so forth. So it should be a lot of fun, a lot of learning. And it's a parent and advocate training classes. And, I look forward to seeing you guys there. I really do. The other thing is now, right after that, the next day, we're pulling out all West Virginians. Come out of your gag orders. Ignore those gag orders, okay? A cease and desist order. When somebody's slandering you, libel, slander, threatening you, that is very legal. And that is something that is upheld by our Constitution. Okay. But a gag order is illegal. You can take it, and I would actually make toilet paper out of it if somebody gave me one. There's nothing that they can do, especially when you come out in droves. And I don't have there's a lot of people, and Rich, actually talk about what's happened with the people from West Virginia, how they were and how they're being now. Like how they were about being afraid, and then now what are they saying? Like people like Larry Cricks.
They're all for it now. Yeah, they were like super scared. I got a gag order on me, which you just said, like they're illegal. And the whole entire West Virginia group has just 360 into really wanting to do this. And I myself, I've predicted this for years to happen, that there is going to be a change. And yeah, I just went out and bought like a 50 megawatt megaphone. They'll be hearing me coming. Yeah, I've been waiting for this forever because like I battled Wood County and they thought I was going to sit down in court. No. Did they put a gag order on me? No.
So, I mean, that tells me a lot, because when you speak up for yourself, when you fight, when you hold your own, it's like a dog that smells fear. That's how I consider these judges. If a dog smells fear, they're going to attack you. But when you're not afraid, and you walk and you're like, listen, I know I didn't do anything wrong, and you have no right trampling my rights. You never got a gag order. And I see everybody. I haven't met a person that doesn't have a gag order in West Virginia, thrown in jail for no reason, and lost their kids. And you never lost your son. You didn't get a gag order. You pretty much probably drove them crazy. and then now it's done, and you've got your sole custody of your son. And I mean, it was a fight, no question. But you beat the odds in West Virginia, because they don't even let people come in and sit in the courtroom and watch. They violate everything in that state.
I got my matter of fact, they were trying to they blocked my mom the first time. And then I started learning all these laws, and I said, my mom and stepfather have the right to attend, and they're going, oh gosh, here we go. So I actually forced them into court, and they actually stayed the entire hearing. So I did a lot of things that attorneys wouldn't do. I had, as my son, and his mother she was already found guilty and charged with 3 counts of child abuse and neglect in 2008, and they were going to transfer custody. I didn't know any of these laws, whatever. So yeah, for like a year and 11, it was like basically almost 2 years of illegal court proceedings. But they couldn't touch me for like a year and 11 months. But anyway, about the enough of that. About this rally, this protest, Jim Justice. I can't wait to see this fat boy coming out of the Capitol, because he's going to have to answer a bunch of questions, and especially like with like the complaints that are filed. I've 2 years. There's an investigation on Wood County. Nothing was done. Couple of lawyers in Wood County. Nothing was done. So that he's going to have to answer a lot of questions. It's like, the corruption is so deep in West Virginia. It's like everywhere. It goes clear up to the governor's office, and it's a fact. And about the child trafficking, it's happening all in our courts in West Virginia. Parents are being gagged. It's parents as myself. Got Larry Cricks, which is a good guy. Mike, our whole group is just ready just to kick in the Capitol doors. And like I said, I got my megaphone. It's like 1 square mile. I think they can hear it, so they'll hear me coming. And so, yeah, that's about all I have to say, unless, if there's any questions.
Well, here's what I want to say about that. So from this now, we are doing a protest on March the 30th. So on March 29th, I will be at the Parkersburg Library. On March the 30th, we're doing a protest, but I want this to be a national protest, and I want everybody to come out as superheroes on the 30th, all over our nation, for our children to be their superheroes. If they ask you why you're dressed like that, or why you're doing this, or why your Facebook page has changed, it's because we are the Justice League. We are the league that is here to protect our families, to protect our children. We are exactly doing what any comic strip, any superhero does. Okay, that's what we do. We fight injustice for justice. We're fighting for the kids, and it gives them something to look up to. I can't tell you guys some things that are happening behind the scenes, but there are children right now that are misplaced. They're in dangerous situations, and we've been able to send people out and talk to them discreetly, and it's giving them hope to know that their mom or dad is fighting for them. Okay, so we're doing this on a bigger scale. So we need you guys to go to Luciana Cosentino, and she will turn you into a superhero, change your profile picture. She will put on it, Punished for Protecting Justice League, so we can get this word out. We got to move fast. You know how I do things. I get an idea and I do things quickly. Today is March the 16th. Okay, March the 29th is a Thursday. March the 30th is actually Good Friday. So we're going to make it a really good Friday. Okay, and we're going to have a national protest, but we're emphasizing on West Virginia because for the reason of they were so scared, and now they're being bold, and they're going to come out. Okay, and we believe they're going to come out in high numbers. Okay, we're looking for 1,000 of you right off the bat, but I expect a whole lot more than that, because there's been, well, Rich, how many neglect cases were there, abuse and neglect cases are there in West Virginia that are hidden? There's a lot of stuff that's going on there, child trafficking, and why this is so important to do this protest.
How many? Thomas Biller I spoke to, he said that there was 100. I can't remember, but there's probably more than a couple hundred illegally gagging parents. They couldn't gag me. Like I said, they weren't going to gag me.
I'm talking about the abuse and neglect. There's a ton of
about the cases
that are non-existent actual cases. They just stamp them as abuse and neglect when they're not abuse and neglect.
I couldn't even tell you how many cases that right now that are being covered up. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, the cover-ups. So many cover-ups.
My son's case was covered up. I'm sure that there's hundreds, probably thousands of cases that's been covered up. And that's one thing that I like to try to uncover, is these cases that are being hidden, and see what's going on with that. Trump needs to be contacted. And I mean, there just needs to be something done with this state of West Virginia, because it's corrupt. We got tyrants, we got imposters, with foreign agents that are running this state. Basically, West Virginia is ran by organized crime. It always has been. Double booking, money laundering, so forth.
It's unbelievable. It's amazing the amount of corruption that exists in states, and why we have to focus on this. So that's what we're going to do now. Amanda, let's hear a little bit from you. You're a chapter leader for the state of Michigan, but what do you think about us doing the superhero idea and a national protest?
Unfortunately, I can't be at this one. We know my schedule's full at the end of March, but I think it's amazing. I think it's an awesome idea. I mean, it's like we've said, you know, doctors dress up, nurses dress up, dentists dress up, everybody dresses up, you know, for these kids. And as far as the judge goes in the other case, you know, mocking it, I think maybe he's a little jealous. I don't know. He's not a superhero. I figured he wants to be a superhero. I don't know. He's not. So
maybe he's super zero when you're anti-children, right?
Right. I think it's a great idea. And I think even, you know, pulling everybody out in drones in West Virginia is a great idea. And I think that everybody across the nation should do this and show up, you know, at your state capitol, at your local courthouse, at wherever, you know, and just protest, make it a day of protest. And superheroes, we are superheroes. That's what we're out there doing. We're trying to help parents take care of themselves to get their children back.
That's
and
right.
that's the number one thing. And as advocates, you know, we are superheroes. We're doing what needs to be done.
Absolutely. And you know, one of the things I find remarkable is just because he doesn't know for sure, how does he know that we don't fly around the country? He has no idea.
I'm all over the place. You never know where I'm at.
So yeah, guys, so don't forget, go to Luciano Constantino. She's got her work cut out for her. I feel bad actually, but she's such a trooper. She'll turn you into a superhero. Hey, judge, if you want to be a superhero, just go to Luciana. She'll turn you into one too. I don't know which one would be appropriate for you, but we'll figure something out. But it'll say Punish for Protecting Justice League on it. And we just, on behalf of West Virginia right now, this was a video that actually showed up today in my memories on this day on Facebook. And this is actually my son, Christian, at the age of 6. And we were living in Ohio in Belpre, which is literally the border, the line right to West Virginia. It's like right there it's like literally 5 minutes over the bridge. And here's my son, Christian.
Too long. Christian, if someone asked you something, this is something that my son's learned being in West Virginia too long. Christian, if someone asked you directions, what would you say?
Well, I was saying, like, take off south and then take a left and then, you know where that big old tree is? Yeah, and then you will ride right at that big old tree and then, like, yeah.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what this video did. Hello, is everybody there?
That's hilarious. That's so funny. It's short, but
he's got the bubble cigar, the bubble pipe.
Doing the accent, that's pretty genius.
Okay, we have Ashley on. She's from West Virginia as well. Ashley, I know we don't actually see you, but if you would like to just say a few things about, you know, West Virginia, and when did she just get kicked off?
She just left right when you said her name.
I think I heard her pop back on.
There, all right, she's on now.
Hey, Ashley, sorry, I don't know what happened there, but I don't know. Did you want to say a few things about? I mean, now you're no longer afraid, right? So you were talk about it a little bit. You talk about it. I don't want to put words in your mouth. Hosts tend to do that.
I'm trying to unmute her mic. It won't let me. She's muted. On her, it must be on her end. It won't let me unmute it.
Try to unmute yourself.
That was the strangest thing. She right when you introduced her.
She's a superhero. She might have had to go take care of some business. Yep. Right back very fast, you know.
Right.
Oh, darn it. Can you unmute yourself? All right. Well, if I see you unmute yourself, I'll call you on. I don't know why that's happening. We'd like to hear from you, but I was really happy to hear the difference in people and see that they're sick and tired of it and they're not going to tolerate it. I mean, we're dealing with cases where really, really, really good parents don't have their children, and it's sick. It's absolutely sick, and they've abused them. And we call the Attorney General. A ton of us call the Attorney General in West Virginia. You know, we've made phone calls to assemblymen and so on and so forth, and they've just passed the bill. You know. Oh, I hear a sound. Okay. Oh, it's Ashley.
That's
okay. Ashley, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so Ashley, tell us a little bit about you were going through this in West Virginia, and now you're ready to rock and roll with this march, right? With this protest.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
What did you think of everybody in the group? How they're acting now compared to a few months ago?
Oh, they've changed. You know, we're on board. We're all ready to get them.
Good. Yeah.
It's time to expose West Virginia.
Expose West Virginia, and you're gonna become a superhero too. Do you have an idea who you want to be?
I'll think about that, Fran. I'll look at some and then let you know.
All right. Well, don't forget to get in touch with Luciana so you can change your profile picture. And I look forward to meeting you because I will be there during this march. Actually, this protest, March 30th, and we're going to have a main location where we'll be, but anybody can do this protest in the state of West Virginia by your choice. So what we tell you guys to do, and thank you, Ashley, what we tell you guys to do is to please be sure to get planning committees together in your areas, in your states. Work with different advocates or just form your own, because anything goes with something like this. And we encourage you to start right away. You know, start right now, even while you're watching this live broadcast. Gather your troops together in your states. Get as many people together in the state of West Virginia, you know, California, New York, everywhere. And let's pump this day. And again, it's the Punish for Protecting Justice League. And we're going to come out and dressed, and you can actually order costumes online. You can get any superhero costume to wear. It's going to be the end of March, so it's right before April, which it should be fairly decent out. We can't promise you that, but and get out there and let them see you. Don't forget to get signs. We'll film, of course, when we're there. We'll go live. We'll be live all day. And let's do this protest and let's show our country that we mean business. You know, people come out for some of the stupidest protests I've ever seen, and they're protesting for things. And yet we need to gather together in this nation and protest the fact that they have some damn nerve stripping families of their rights that have always been there. And let's do this. Let's do this as one big mighty voice. And I look forward to it. So again, don't forget, go to Luciana Costantino. I want to thank my guests, Richard Provost, Amanda, and Ashley. Ted, I want to thank you again for the use of your
Fran.
You're very welcome. And again, this Monday from 1 to 4:30, I will be in Marlboro, New York. Don't forget to register for any of these classes. We've got Georgia, we've got Nanuet, New York, back in New York again, and we've got West Virginia, and then it's about to go wild after that. As a matter of fact, after March 20th, I'm going to have my book launch, best-selling book, Amazon, on March 20th. So get ready to look for that. And you probably will be seeing a lot of me, but you won't be seeing a lot of me on the lives as much because I'm going to be so busy out there. Now, somebody did just hop on, I believe. Let's see.
Someone did.
Yep, I have one more. I have one more on here right now. This is my chapter leader for the state of Pennsylvania. Hi, Corinne.
Hi.
So Corinne, this is perfect. So let's tell everybody what you think about us doing this March 30th National Protest Justice Superheroes.
I could not be more excited about dressing up as Captain Sunshine and marching and having a protest in what we truly believe in and fighting for the safety and health and well-being of our children. I stand firmly behind us. We are all superheroes, and all of our children are so emphatic about the fact that we're superheroes. Their mommies and daddies are superheroes. Say what?
Yeah.
This is the best thing ever, and I cannot wait for that day because I'll be right by everybody's side protesting and what we believe in and what we're fighting for.
And the kids, they just so look up to that. Now, what did your boys say to you about you being a superhero? What did they say?
Oh my gosh, Liam says, "You're a superhero?" And he said, "Are you Wonder Woman?" I said, no, that's Miss Fran. And he said, I showed him the Justice League, and he said, "Do you mean that all of them are helping you fight for me?" I said, "Yes, sir." And he looked at me and he hugged me and he said, "Oh, Mama, I'm so happy to see you."
Yeah.
And that was the first time I've seen them since August 9th, 2017.
Yeah.
So when he found out that his mama works with the Justice League and we are all superheroes, he knew he's going to be in good hands and that we're fighting. I said, "I'm never going to stop." And he got out his superheroes and we played superheroes with a superhero.
So, and I agree. And that's why we titled this today, Superheroes
versus Zero. Yeah.
So,
I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. So come and join us in the classes, the meet and greets, and the book signings. Get a copy of the book with the class. And I look forward to meeting everybody. I'm super psyched about Georgia. You're going to be a part of my class in New York, Corinne, and I'm excited about that for Sunday. And then we're going to be in, like I said, Georgia, and then we're going to be in West Virginia. And just keep watching Facebook and go to my website, www.punished, the number 4, beingaparent.com. Okay, let's stop being punished for protecting our rights, and let's say no to this bullcrap. Let's fight for the state of West Virginia and every state as we do a national protest on March 30th. Make sure that you're out. Make sure you change your profile to a superhero for these children. Let's show the world we mean business. Okay, and go to Luciana Constantino, and she'll turn you into a superhero for real. Thank you guys, and have a good afternoon.
Bye.
Just please stop yelling at me, please. Call 911!